We are speaking today with someone who just finished the second person ever, I think, to finish the calendar year Triple Crown border to border. So he hiked Appalachian Trail and connected it from border to border in the country. He hiked the uh, Pacific Crest Trail, also connected it border to border, and the Continental Divide Trail and did border to border there. So crazy year, over 8,000 miles. This person is going for 10,000 miles on the year. Welcome to the Distance to Empty podcast, the podcast where we talk about 200 plus mile ultramarathons and multi-night events. I am your host, Kevin Goldberg, and as always, I'm joined by everyone's favorite co-host, Peter Noyes. Peter, how's it going? You just got back from a work trip to Miami where you ran and you're training again, and life is great, right?
Yeah, I got 2 good runs in Miami. It's always fun to run in a city you don't normally run in. Maybe that's the motivation to snap back into it.
Yeah. We are 7 weeks out from Avalon?
Perfect.
Yeah, you're back in action. That's the reason for the delay in the week's episode is Peter was on a work trip, so we're getting this out early this week. Hopefully you're listening on a Monday or Tuesday. But yeah, how's everything else been, Peter?
Good. Although it is, LA has another blizzard going right now. Like we have a tremendous amount of rain that's coming down these over a few days, and my dogs don't like the rain. I have to take them on purposeful walks to make them use the bathroom. They don't want to be outside.
They won't go out the door if it's raining, on their own? Huh. You sent me that picture of Otto in a full rain suit coat thing, which was pretty adorable.
Yeah. It's tough out here in LA. We get a lot of weather.
Yeah. That Southern California is known for its extreme weather swings and really rough conditions, that's for sure.
Exactly. Yeah, but Denver looked nice today. You want a bike ride?
I did a bike ride. It's been I think it's changing. Next week, it looks like we're diving down into the mid to low 40s pretty consistently, but it's been high 60s, low 70s still into mid-November here, which is not really normal for us. And or if it does happen, it usually comes with crazy winds, but it's just been downright lovely out, really nice weather. So definitely enjoying that, but I do think it is about to shift here soon. What are those crazy? You guys have a name for winds. You get crazy winds in Southern California.
We haven't really had them this time of year, but we call them the Santa Ana winds. Santa Ana's an area in Orange County.
Okay.
Usually around this time, we get it can be 60 miles an hour, even 100 mile an hour gusts every so often.
That sounds dangerous. Yeah. Well, speaking of crazy things, we have a crazy guest today. Before we hop into that, stay tuned for the outro of today's episode. We have a lot of pretty cool things to announce here. If you're a regular listener, you know that we're always telling you how amazing John G and Mount to Coast are, and that's not going to change. We are going to tell you that in the outro again, but we are always offering a free hat or a free shirt for those who place orders with our sponsors, and we have some new options of things to offer for people placing sponsor orders. So yeah, stay tuned for what those are. I don't even know if Peter knows what they are. I think I did tell you. It's exciting.
I know one of them.
Yeah. Well, one is ready to go. We can do it right away, and have another couple ideas on the back burner that are cooking. So we'll dive into that in the outro, but let's get to the main episode. We are speaking today with someone who just finished the second person ever, I think, to finish the calendar year Triple Crown border to border. So he hiked Appalachian Trail and connected it from border to border in the country. He hiked the Pacific Crest Trail, also connected it border to border, and the Continental Divide Trail and did border to border there. So crazy year, over 8,000 miles. This person is going for 10,000 miles on the year. I think he is well on his way, but he's only got 45-ish days left now. That's crazy that it's 45 days till the end of the year. Troy Croxdale. Awesome dude and pretty amazing accomplishment here. So let's dive into his calendar year Triple Crown. Troy, welcome to Distance to Empty. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me.
We are stoked to dive into the recent massive adventure you've been on. But before we get started, I'm going to put you and Peter on the spot. Peter, I'm going to start with you. How many Triple Crowns can you think of? just across any genre, any sport, any field, and in life, there are a lot of them.
Yeah, I'm going to fail at this, but I mean, in horse racing, right? Isn't there a famous Triple Crown?
According to ChatGPT, that is the most famous Triple Crown.
Okay.
So you got number one. It's winning the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont Stakes in a single season.
There's that one. I mean, there's the Destination Trail Triple Crown. Obviously, I think there's the Triple Crown of thru-hiking, right? Which is, I think, why we're here.
Troy, can you think of any other ones?
No, I think it's just the Destination Trails, Triple Crown of 200s, and then the Triple Crown of thru-hiking. Those are the only two I can think of. I didn't even really know about the horse racing ones.
Peter, I'm surprised you didn't think of the Triple Crown in baseball.
Crown in baseball.
It's where you, for a pitcher, it would be wins, strikeouts, and ERA, and for a batter, it's batting average, home runs, and RBI, leading in all those categories.
Okay.
Yeah, there's so many. In cycling, it's winning the Tour de France, Giro d'Italia, and the Vuelta de España. In motor racing, it's winning the Indy 500, the Le Mans, and the Monaco Grand Prix. In golf, it's winning the Masters US Open and the Open Championship in a single season. There's a Hawaiian surfing Triple Crown. There's obviously the ones you've mentioned. There's mountaineering Triple Crown for various peak combinations. In acting, it's winning an Oscar, Emmy, and Tony. In music, it's winning a Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. There's like a chess Triple Crown. There's so many Triple Crowns.
It sounds like it.
But anyway, Troy, what Triple Crown are we here to talk about today?
Just did the border to border calendar year Triple Crown, which is the Appalachian Trail, Pacific Crest Trail, Continental Divide Trail. But I extended the Appalachian Trail to the borders, so
yeah, for the most part, this podcast focuses on we say we focus on multi-night events, and that sounds like you probably did that in multiple nights.
Yeah.
But our primary focus is like the 200 plus mile ultra distance. So for those who might not be fully familiar with that, we recently had Jeff Garmeyer on to talk about his self-supported AT FKT. So you're literally walking from border to border. In the case of the AT, you started in Key West and finished in Newfoundland, I think.
I didn't quite go up to Newfoundland, but I went to the Canadian border, just up in Maine, so about 80 miles north of Mount Katahdin, where the Appalachian Trail ends.
And then for the Pacific Crest Trail, did you do that south to north or north to south?
South to north.
Okay, so starting at the Mexico border and ending at the Canada. Yeah.
And then southbound. So I started in Canada on the Continental Divide Trail and went to Mexico. Just weather-wise, that's the only way to really do it.
Yeah. And calendar year means you did them all pretty much back to back to back in the same year.
Yeah.
It is now, we're recording on October 29th. Happy almost Halloween. You've been finished for, I think, about a week or so.
Yeah, finished on the 20th, so
yeah,
I honestly don't even know the date. So
when did you start?
January 1st at like 5:30, 6 in the morning. I left Key West, Florida, the big buoy right there in town, and started making my way. You guys probably know Jameson Collins. He flew down and joined me for the first 3 days or something, going through the Keys. Just on the road there, like 7 Mile Bridge and all that.
That's so awesome. So you've been at this project for pretty much 10-ish months.
Yeah, 293 days. So yeah, just about 10 months.
And how many total miles?
8,600, give or take. I think maybe a little bit shy of that, but yeah. Okay. I'm over that now because I've been running and I'm trying to get to 10,000 by the end of the year. So
I've seen that. We're going to get into that. 10,000 miles for the year. That's like over 3 years of my mileage, and I run a lot.
Yeah, so
that's crazy. All right, let's dive into your Instagram name is Hike with Punisher. Your trail name is Punisher. I want to start with the origin of that trail name before we get into the adventure itself and sort of kick off who is Troy Croxdale and why Punisher.
So in 2020, on my first thru hike, I went out to attempt the Pacific Crest Trail, and I was going southbound that year, which is, people say it's a little bit tougher to go southbound because the weather window is a little bit less. And ran into a trail angel. His name is Fresh Ground. He just like helps hikers, feeds them, gives them rides, whatever. And I had 3 buddies come join me, like off the couch, just coming out to go do like 5 days around Mount Hood. And they all ended up leaving hurt, like blisters or knee issues. And Fresh Ground had to bail them all out. And he was like, "Oh, you're just punishing all your friends." So it just stuck from there. And yeah, now I'm Punisher.
So the way it works, right, is you can't give yourself a trail name, right? It has to be given to you.
Yeah, usually. Yeah, some people will choose a name, but yeah, it was given to me.
That's awesome. I need someone to give me the trail name co-host. I think that'd be amazing. But anyway, like looking at what you've accomplished, you know, you've never done a 100-miler. Obviously, you've done these crazy things. You're talking about running 1,500 miles the end of this year. You've done 200 miles, but how on earth did you get into all this without actually running a 100-miler?
I don't know. Just like all through maybe high school-ish, like I read something about the Pacific Crest Trail, and it's like, oh, there's a footpath from Mexico to Canada? Like, that sounds crazy. And I was just talking about it over the years and telling my dad, like, have you heard of the Pacific Crest Trail? And he ended up passing away in 2019. But before that, he was, quit talking about it and go do it. So that's kind of what I did when he passed away. The next year I went out and did it and just haven't stopped.
So at what point because you've done, done Tahoe 200, you've run Cocodona and Moab 240 as well. At what point did we mentioned having Jeff on the podcast, someone else who came from a more thru-hiking background is now all in on ultras. At what point did these multi-day ultras come onto your radar? And I mean, I assume having the thru-hiking background is a big part of the reason you just skipped the 100-mile distance and was like, I can go run, fast hike, whatever for 200 miles.
Yeah, the 100 miles just seemed like such fast pace, and the cutoffs are, quicker. And I was actually on the PCT in 2022 when I heard about the Tahoe 200. Somebody's like, "Oh, the lottery opens in 3 days or something." So I was like, all right, whatever, I'm going to put my name in, and they're not going to choose me or whatever, Get to Washington, and it's like, get an email. It's like, "Congratulations, you've been accepted," or whatever, into Tahoe 200. So I was like, I better start training, like running or whatever. Yeah, I'd never really attempted any ultra marathon before that. I did run a 50-miler. It was virtual, like during COVID. But yeah, I think the longer the better for the thru-hiking people. It's because we're used to being out there.
So with this Triple Crown, like how many other people have done this? Is there like a website that's tracking the accomplishment, or like how did you even think that this is possible?
Jeff Garmeyer, he's done it. So he's actually like probably the first person I knew that had done like the calendar year Triple Crown, which is all 3 of the trails. But there's only been one other person that's extended it, the border to border. So technically I'm the second person to ever do it.
Man, and what was the motivation for, like, did you just see that, hey, why not extend it border to border? Like, why not go just after the like more standard Triple Crown?
Yeah, I just felt like it was more of a full, I don't know,
aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah,
route?
I was just like, just border to border, go all the way across. Yeah, I don't know. Because in 2021, I was attempting the Eastern Continental Trail, which was Key West to Newfoundland, but they weren't letting people across the border because of COVID. So I got up to Mount Katahdin and ended up going over to the CDT and going back southbound. And ever since then, it was like, I wish I would have had the PCT in there. So this year I went back and did all.
So, like, I think people, I say people because of myself, like, I have such a hard time envisioning the scope of this. Like, when you run 200 miles, the math is easy. You know how much you're traveling per day, the cutoffs, and et cetera. And even something like looking at like a FKT on one of these long trails, you can still break it down into like the daily mileage and what it takes. Like, do you have any sense of like how many 0 days you took, what your average daily mileage was, what your like bigger days looked like, what your shorter days looked like? Sort of break down like that 293 days for us in like how nonstop was this? I'm sure it felt nonstop regardless of the answer, but like how truly like nonstop was this? Like what was the downtime like? All that stuff.
I think I probably took somewhere around 10 to 14 like full 0 days. Some of them were forced. Like I remember taking a 00 in Alabama because a tornado was coming through the area. But then I took 2 more days off at Tahoe 200. I was kind of in the Tahoe area, so I just took a couple days off to go hang out with everybody, eat a bunch of food. But yeah, the mileage ranged from 20 miles a day to 55, I think was my longest day. Yeah, just, it seemed like I was just go, 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 go. But yeah, there was like a few shorter breaks in there. Whether I'm going into town to resupply, like, you know, that cuts into your mileage for the days. Yeah, what were you going to say, Peter?
Yeah, that's just wild. And I'm also wondering, I'm here in California, and to me, it seemed like we had kind of a light weather year, like snow wasn't really an issue. So was 2025 like an optimal year to do this from your perspective, or like how did you account for weather in your planning?
Yeah, so I was planning on going straight through, like on all the trails to limit like the jumping around and flying back and forth, whatever. But when I got to New Hampshire, I got caught in like an ice, snow, sleet storm. It was miserable. So I was getting ready to head into the Whites, like I was right at Mount Moosilauke, and I decided to just call it there. I got picked up by a hostel and jumped on a plane that next day and flew over to the PCT. But I did the desert on the PCT in 17 days or 18 days. And so when I got to Kennedy Meadows South, there was still a ton of snow in the Sierra. So I ended up jumping the Sierras, going up to Dunsmuir and heading back south. I still had a bunch of snow up there, but it was less than what was in the Sierras. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, I mean it's just you know, you're inevitably gonna like have to deal with significant weather regardless of the year if you're out for 290 days or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's like the downtime was less than I like if let's say you did 2 weeks of 0 days, like that's pretty wild to think about how few that is. Yeah.
On the CDT, I only took like one day off, I think.
How much of this was, I mean, obviously it was I'm sure at times it was a blend of unsupported, self-supported, supported. You had friends meet you out there, which I bet was awesome, but you're out there for so long. There were stretches where you're probably completely unsupported. From a gear perspective, like were you relying on resupplies? Were you going into town to sort of like resupply yourself? Was it planned both ahead of time, or were you kind of like most of the gear you had was the gear you had and you were resupplying ad hoc along the way? How'd that work out?
Yeah, so most of the gear I used like all the way through. Obviously shoes I had to have shipped in, and food. I sent a few boxes ahead, but yeah, went into towns and resupplied as well. I had to switch out my sleeping bag in Wyoming on my way southbound on the CDT because obviously it's starting to get cold. But yeah, no major like gear adjustments along the way. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm doing the math here because I was curious with what you said for like your, like daily average miles and whatnot. And it looks like it's right around 30 miles a day if depending on various factors, but like 30 miles give or take. And like, that's a long time to do 30 miles a day. And, I've been on significant sections of all three of those long trails. And like, like for anyone who's not familiar, like you think of some like the harder ultras out there, like these are rugged mountainous trails. Like there's not, sure there's easy stretches to any trail, but this is like 30-mile days on these trails, regardless of where you're at on these trails, are big days. Like I did the JMT in 5 days. I think it was averaging like 35-mile days. Like it's hard to average 35-mile days on the JMT. And you did it for almost 300 days.
Yeah, I mean, my hardest stretch was the White Mountains in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Especially that's finishing the PCT, like, cruisy trail, not flat, but going from that straight into the White Mountains, that was my hardest stretch of the whole trail. It was like 100 miles, but like 30 or 40,000 feet of climbing.
Yeah, the Whites are no. I've done like Presidential Traverse and like
yeah, okay.
like those are like it's like the technical gnarliness of all the AT, but then more vert. So it's just like you're getting like everything.
Yeah, it was brutal. I had to actually took it 0 in Gorham, like when I got out of the Whites, because I was so wrecked. Just like nutrition wise, I wasn't really fueling like I should have been, and yeah, I vaguely remember just being dead coming out of there.
So Troy, you've spent a lot of, you've obviously run 200s, and you've also just spent a lot of time around the races, volunteering, supporting. Like, what do you think the difference is, like, mindset wise, or just, execution and training for these races compared to something like what you just did? Like, there are certainly similarities, but they're so different, but clearly they attract the same type of person. So like, I just ruminate a little what you think.
Yeah.
Why you think that might be?
With the thru hike, I just feel like I'm out there for so long, my body eventually is like, okay, like this is what we're doing. But then like when I ran Tahoe, it takes like a day and a half or 2 days for my body to realize like, okay, this is what we're doing. But then the race is almost over at that point. So it's like, and I'm pushing so much harder in 200s than I am on the trail. I know I'm not carrying as much gear or food and whatnot, but yeah, I just think they're faster pace and the timeline is drastically different.
Do you even train much for something like this, or do you just use the first, weeks on the trail kind of get you up to where you need to be?
Yeah, so for this one, it was within 2 weeks of me starting when I decided to do this. So I wasn't really training. I was actually down in South America at the Speed Project, the Atacama. So running across the Atacama Desert. I was helping our buddy Aaron Kabala. But so I got a little bit of training, but I wasn't specifically training for nearly 8,500 miles or anything.
Wait, so you said you decided to do this 2 weeks before doing it?
Yeah.
That might be crazier than doing it.
Yeah. I was like in a hostel down in South America, and where we were trying to hike, you needed like permits and all this stuff, and we couldn't get them. And I'm like, I just want to hike. Like, I just want to get on trail and just go. And so I was like, maybe this is the year I just go for the calendar year. And I was thinking more. It's like, well, I'll just start now in like a week or two and just start in Key West, make my way. So I flew home for Christmas for 2 days and then flew down to Key West.
How much, like out of 100, would you say you were like committed to doing this all the way through from the start? Or like, was it something you were all like, considering it reminds me of the Michael Scott quote from The Office, is like, I've had this idea since lunch and I'm not ready to give up on it now.
I mean,
from day one, or did it grow as you got down the trail?
I was all in from the beginning. Like, I'm going to just give it my best. If it works out, it works out. And if I don't make it, it's not the end of the world. But, I was like all in from the beginning. Just give it my best shot and see what happens.
So how much planning do you do? Like, we talked to Jeff, and he's got like elaborate spreadsheets knowing where he's going to be when, all these resupplies and whatnot. But I mean, you're not quite at that same pace, right? So like, how much of this are you just kind of figuring out as you go versus pre-planning?
Yeah, just kind of winging it day by day. Just try and go as far as I can every day. Whether that's 30 or 40 plus miles. Yeah, it's like basically just town to town is what I was planning for. It's all right, well, I made it here. I got 120 miles to the next town, and I'll resupply there for the next stretch.
Yeah, it's kind of like aid station to aid station. It's just town to town.
Exactly, same thing.
Which trails had you done before?
All of them.
You had done all of them. That's what I thought. I imagine that, like, obviously you're not remembering every inch of each 2,000 to 3,000 mile trail, but I imagine you have some towns in mind. You have some like the structure and memory there helps with just the overall execution of it.
Yeah, definitely. I had a general idea of where I would resupply before I was getting there. At some places you have like multiple options. You could go like east or west off the, to different towns, or you could go a little bit further and there's a town right on trail.
What,
Town to town.
yeah, I want to, not to I don't, you never want to harp on people's DNFs, especially when you don't chat with them beforehand about it and just bring it up anyway. But
Please do.
yeah, you've done really well at Tahoe, podium finish there, and then DNF'd, I think, Cocodona and Moab, right?
Both of them.
And, knowing you and talking to you, obviously very mentally strong person. You don't do something like what you just did. You don't finish forget what you just did. You don't even finish a long trail without being a very mentally strong person. And that's regardless of pace, just the fortitude to be out there for that long is intense. What do you credit those DNFs to? And why do you think you have had those experiences where obviously you've proven yourself time and time again, to be that mentally strong person?
Yeah. So we'll start with Moab. So I actually showed up there to volunteer. I was not training or anything for the race.
Sensing a trend.
And people got to talking oh, Troy wants to run, blah, blah, blah. And so they ended up actually letting me in the 10 p.m. the night before. I had no gear with me, nothing. And I just went out way too fast. After the Tahoe finish, I was I could go out, with the front runners. Was not a smart idea. I was throwing up blood at mile 70 or something, and I just ended up calling it there. And with Cocodona, I went in injured. I had a piriformis syndrome, so I was dealing with that before, and I was staying in Scottsdale at the time, trying to train as much as I could, but that nagging injury was kind of not letting go, and I was in the area, so I'm I'm going to start anyways and just see where this thing goes. Yeah, ended up calling it at, Crown King, the first 37 miles or whatever.
Yeah. To be fair, it's not exactly just
it's not, yeah.
It's a tough 37 miles.
It is.
I bet that race has more 37-mile DNFs than any other 200.
For sure.
So it's interesting. So it seems like it's sort of just been circumstances and preparation. Does it leave you jonesing for going after one of these all in? Does it make you want to prepare and plan and have one where you show up fully yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to go back. They're so expensive for me. I can't. I could do a whole long trail for the price of one race,
That's pretty crazy. You talk about value per mile, right?
Exactly. So I'm yeah, that's really the only thing holding me back from doing the races. I mean, I probably have some credits for destination trails, so we'll see in the future. Maybe next year. But
I guess leaning into that, how do you do these kind of on the cheap? What does resupplying look like? What about all the gear? How are you able to accomplish all this?
Normally I'm eating ramen, tuna, just the cheapest bars I could find. But this year I actually ended up getting some help with some dehydrated meal companies and stuff like that. So that really helped me out. Fueling wise, getting actual calories, not just ramen and garbage, eating candy bars all day. But yeah, just keeping it as cheap as possible. Ramen and garbage food. Yeah. That's how I did all the trails before, but obviously not at such a high level.
Was there, obviously you had, I guess this is going to branch into two parts here. One, you kept people updated throughout this adventure. You documented on social media. So I'm curious how that played a factor. I imagine you, and it probably wasn't as you probably weren't as connected as it seemed to the outsider. It's oh, Troy's posting every day. He must be super, but I know how it is when you're out there. It's actually no, half the day my phone was dead or whatever, but how much were you carrying battery wise? And then did that help with trail magic and just support overall?
Yeah, it definitely helped with support and stuff overall. Yeah, people were very kind to me this year. But I was carrying a 20,000 milliamp hour battery and then another 10,000. Never really ran out or anything, but with the posting stuff is I was just making them they were like 5 or 6 days behind. So when I get to a town or have service, I would make a few videos and just schedule them to go out. So it was just all delayed by like 5 or 6 days.
So
Sorry, I just want to highlight that you said one of Peter's favorite words there, the milliamp. I feel like you obsess over that word. You love
Oh, yeah?
that.
yeah, I love milliamp
Yeah.
hours. So I've never done anything even remotely close to this. I haven't even fast packed a trail like Kevin has. So I'm just constantly blown away, talking to people like you, just trying to wrap my head around it. But like one thing someone told me, and I may be wrong, but I learned like sunscreen isn't even practical in something like this, right? It's too much. So you got to just be covered head to toe. Like, is that true? And like, what other things are there like that a 200 miler wouldn't even realize?
So I did carry like a little tiny sunscreen stick, like just for my nose and under my eyes there. But yeah, sun shirts, Path Projects, they hooked me up with all kinds of gear. So yeah, their sun shirt, and I actually never put sunscreen on my legs. So I don't know how they didn't get scorched, but I think
leg
just
hair for the
over
win.
time, yeah, I think it just over time and just tanned and yeah. But what else would I think? Yeah, I don't know. I used 2 sticks of chapstick that lasted me the whole time, which is crazy.
What about like drugs and stuff? Do you carry like cold medicine, Imodium, Advil?
I should, but no.
Yeah.
I only carried like 1 Motrin, or maybe,
It's like
yeah.
the ring, and it's like your precious Motrin. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like would be able to, if something did happen, it would be like just to get me out to a road or
Yeah.
whatever, just to find civilization.
So, Troy, speaking of sunscreen, quick story, and I'd like you to respond to this story in one word, whatever word comes to mind. Peter puts sunscreen on the night before his event, and then he gets into bed and sleeps in the sunscreen, and then he wakes up and puts on sunscreen again. If you could describe that in one word, what would it be, and why would it be idiotic?
Excessive.
It's
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Is that just so it soaks in and then you?
no, there's no.
I swear it works. And it comes from my Iron Man days where,
Of course, it works. It works to just put sunscreen on the morning of.
but if you're going to swim, bike, and run and never reapply, like that's where it comes from. And if I'm going to go out and run
Okay.
for 2 days, right? It's the same principle.
Yeah.
So for your next
Yeah,
long
it's
trail,
better than
Troy,
me.
just start like 2 weeks ahead of time. Every night,
Yeah,
sunscreen
just-
up, and just
Yeah, I should be better about putting sunscreen on because, yeah.
Yeah. So Peter, you've said you've never done one of these and never even gone fast packing, but you do have aspirations to do the PCT, do you not?
I do. I mean, that's like a bucket list thing. Like out that window, I can see the PCT. Like, I don't know if you remember, but going through the Angeles Crest, you get up to Mount Dunsmore before you start descending down to Acton, where that KOA is.
Okay,
so
yeah.
I can see Mount or not Mount
Okay.
Mount Gleason. I can see Mount Gleason, right there. So
Okay.
I'm not far from
That's
it.
sweet.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I gotta do it eventually, but it's hard to
Yeah,
wrap
it
my
was
mind around.
it was so hot for me getting into, what is the town right there after Agua Dulce? It was like over 100 there, and I ended up taking the day off and then pushing all the way through the night.
Troy, you mentioned it, right before we hit record. You were just like, say you're trying to reintegrate into real life. Like what, there's always like the post race blues when you finish a 200, or you hear about people reintegrating after they do a long trail. Like after something this massive that's taking nearly the whole year, like what does that reintegration period feel like, and like how's that been for you over the past? It's only been 9 days, and some of those days you've been at Javelina. I think were you at Moab?
No,
You
I
weren't at
didn't
Moab.
make it
You were
to
still
Moab.
you were still
Yeah,
going at Moab,
still
but you were at
on the trail.
Javelina. Like it's been a busy 9 days.
Yeah, I think going to Javelina and things like that actually kind of help because you're around friends and like-minded people. I was still getting miles. Like I paced Katie for 20 miles, and then I did a loop at Javelina with Andy Glaze. So I was, out chatting with people all day and all night. So that helps because people always talk about post-trail depression, and it's like, I don't want to get into that, so I'm just going to keep going, running, doing all whatever, just staying active.
Is that sort of the purpose behind this 10,000 mile goal? Is just to kind of have a little bonus to keep the year rolling?
Yeah, and just sounds better.
And that's still like, you say, oh, well, I'm already at whatever, 8,800 or whatever, so it's getting close to 10,000. But we have 2 months left here in the year. Like that's a big two months. Like, I'm at like almost 3,000 miles for the year, and I'm like, I don't even think I'll make 3,500.
Yeah.
So like, what do you have any like adventures or mini stuff planned to like get you to that, or is it just going to be a daily grind sort of thing?
Yeah, so we're heading to Rio del Lago, 100
Dell.
miler, Del,
Rio
yeah,
del Lago.
Rio del Lago, yeah. So we're going there this weekend, and then I'll do probably 30 to 50 miles of pace in there. And then it's in the works. I'm not technically signed up yet, but there's a backyard ultra that
Sweet.
so we'll
Where's
see.
that?
It's in Granite Bay. It's like
Okay.
NorCal
Yeah.
something backyard.
Nice. Well, if you see at Rio, if you see Jerry Cook or Gabe Peterson, say hello.
All right.
Jerry's a good friend and one of my athletes, and Gabe's our good buddy that's pacing him there. So he's shooting
Nice.
for sub 24 there.
Awesome.
Have you done the backyard style yet?
I haven't. Just like a lot of you probably saw it on my Instagram, but I was like running quite a bit towards the end of the CDT just because I had so much support, and we were kind of not mimicking that, but it was like the crew was meeting me like every 5 miles, and it was like I was never really like tired, but I was like maybe I could like do a few laps on the backyard. So
I bet you
I
could
don't
do
know,
well.
just see. So
Yeah, I personally kind of hated the format.
yeah.
I felt like I had decided I was going to quit at 100 by like mile 12,
Oh, okay.
and then I did.
Yeah, I'm like, I will give it a shot and probably won't be in this good a shape probably ever again. So,
Yeah, do you feel like coming off of just that much time on feet and volume, like your aerobic base must be like to the moon? Like, do you feel super fit right
yeah,
now?
yeah, yeah, and all my buddies that have been pacing with me, they're like, he's a freaking machine right now. Like, he just doesn't stop. So, like, my last 2 days, 2 full days on the CDT were all 50-plus-mile days.
Well, we're expecting 115 hours at the backyard.
Is that what it is?
Isn't that the record?
I don't know.
Something like that, 115,
But
118 or something.
it's
Yeah.
supposedly like somewhat of a more technical course than,
Yeah. Well,
like,
see,
it's not just like
the-
a flat loop.
the problem with the backyard ultra, though, Troy, is you can't go 118 because there won't be someone who can go 117. So
Yeah.
you need someone
We
else.
got a
who-
bunch of buddies
Okay.
going there. Hopefully, I mean, I can last more than 50 miles or something, but yeah, we'll see. I'm just going to go have fun and see where it goes.
Yeah, so running now, like, I guess we just kind of asked that, but it just blows me away that hiking for 8 months, suddenly you can be super fit running. But I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not running super fast, it's light jog.
Yeah, like I bet you could. Your anaerobic like capacity is probably not great. Like you probably couldn't rip a super fast 5K, but I bet you
No,
could go
probably.
run like 12 to 14-minute miles for like 200 days.
Probably. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like the hiking and climbing, like that's great, but fast running, no.
Yeah, man, that's wild. I just like, and to know like you're only that as far as you know, like the second person to ever, like how many people can say they're like one of X amount of people in that small group to have done something. Like, when you run a 200, you enter like this tiny group, but there's
Yeah.
still this major community that makes it feel normal.
Feel-
And like you don't really have that. Like you are like, yeah.
Yeah, the last or the only guy to do it is his name was Professor Carl. He did it in 2022. Yeah, 2022. And he did it in like 350 days, 350 plus days. And yeah, so I shaved, I don't know, 50 plus days off of
60
that. So
days off of that.
60 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was, and I would like to point this out that like the CDT route, everybody says choose your own adventure. So I like cut off some of the San Juans, like just weather-wise. I had to. I didn't really have a choice. Yeah, like just took some alternates that are like they're known alternates, but It wasn't like your 3,000 mile Continental Divide Trail through hike. Like, I don't know exactly the total miles, but
I don't
it
think
wasn't 3,000.
anyone's judging that except for maybe
No,
you,
I
Troy.
know, but it's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
Weather-wise.
I mean, it makes me feel like anyone who does the Colorado Trail wants to like really emphasize whether they did like collegiate west or east, like, because it's like one is easier, like, but it's still like, dude, like, that's insane.
I went east and it's not easier.
Yeah, it's lower. It's not easier.
Yeah, you just have like some protection with trees.
Yeah. Yeah. I did west last year, like late September, and we had to, it's so beautiful, but we had to extract. We got like 8 inches of snow that was not expected.
Man.
And we were prepared enough to stay alive, but certainly not prepared enough to stay comfortable. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can get brutal up there above 12, 13.
Yeah. And that there's that stretch on west where you are like above 11.5 for like 20 miles.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Exposed ridges.
Yeah. Man, Troy, this was awesome. I'm excited for people to learn more about this Triple Crown. As we established at the top of the episode, there's a lot of Triple Crowns out there, but if I had to put my vote in for what is the most impressive Triple Crown, this might be pretty close to the top. Certainly more so than, I don't know, the golf one or whatever.
Golf. Well, thank you guys. Yeah, I appreciate it.
We want to run you through our quick 5 questions that we ask every guest. Usually we say we're going to keep it to like 200s if the person has run 200s that you have. But I think for this, let's focus on the calendar year Triple Crown and keep it between these 3 trails from this year. So what was your highest high out there over the 293 days? Top moment, if you can think of one.
Probably finishing the PCT the day I finished. Yeah, I did it in 84 days, which is way faster than the last time I did it. And the fact that I made it through before all the fire closures, like that was a big thing for this whole year. So yeah, I mean, I was so stoked when I got to the border up there.
Did you have to hike back from that one? I know, like,
30 miles.
Oof, that's brutal.
That's mean. All right. What about the flip side of that? What was your lowest low this year on all these trails?
I think after I flipped up from Cottonwood Pass, skipped the Sierras and went up to Dunsmuir, coming back south, there was still a bunch of snow, and I got into this one section near I think it's like the South Fork of the Feather River, or Middle Fork of the Feather River. Anyways, there was like 1,000 blowdowns in one day, and that was pretty demoralizing. Like, just knowing how far I still had to go, and the miles weren't coming easy, and luckily I did have my buddy Willie Bones out there with me, grinding through he's breaking branches and helping me out.
It's so brutal when you're like, when it's like every 1/10 of a mile or less is another like major.
Oh, yeah. It's like you get through one and you can already see the next.
Crawling under, over, there's
poison
no around.
Oak everywhere too, so that was, luckily I didn't get any, but...
And when the trees are still like not alive, but like all their branches and their needles and everything, it's like, hell.
Yeah, so that was...
Yeah. What about, what was your like best food experience out there, let's say? Usually we say like, what's your number one like food to fuel with during a 200, but like best meal you had over the 293 day period?
I think in Gorham, when I said I took that 0 day after I hit 2 Chinese buffets in one day. So I think I ate like 12 plates of Chinese food that day.
I want to follow up to that. Like, one of my favorite things about running 200s is like, let's say the acute period after of like up to 72 hours or whatever. It's different for everyone, but like that initial period after where like everything just tastes so good. You're eating every like 2 hours, like full meals every 2 to 3 hours. It's just like, it's such a great like place to exist in, and it feels so fun. Did you like kind of have that for like 300 days?
Yeah, I mean, I was just an endless pit. Like I could, I could eat a dozen donuts like in one sitting.
Man, jealous.
But now that I'm off trail, like I'm holding myself back. Like, went to In-N-Out last night. Couldn't go too crazy, but still got quite a bit of stuff. So got to watch that.
All right, and then what about your favorite piece of gear out there, or like what piece of gear did you rely most on, or really saved you out there?
Quilt. My jacks are better. Quilt. I used the 20-degree one for 6,000 maybe even 7,000 miles until I got to Wyoming. And then I switched to the 0 degree, and those things are great. I love those.
Yeah. I've only done one. I switched to a quilt, and I've only done one trip with my quilt, and I loved it.
Which one did you get?
I got the Enlightened Equipment one. Yeah.
They're good. They're great.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was a huge fan of it. It's just like so much more versatility. Like you're not like,
Yeah.
I like to move around, and yeah, I really liked it. All right, Troy, last question for you. I think we know the answer. It's how we end every single episode. Have you found your distance to empty yet?
Pretty close, but not quite as I'm thinking about doing this backyard, so maybe we'll find it there.
Also, you immediately finished 8,600 miles or whatever and was like, I'm going to get to 10. So,
Yeah, we'll see.
dude, this was fun. Thanks for coming on, and just congrats again. This like such a cool thing to follow along with, and such a cool accomplishment. And enjoy the not having to do 30 miles a day through the mountains for at least a minute.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys reaching out and having me on. So hope to see you guys at a race sometime soon.
Heck yeah. We are speaking today with someone who just finished the second person ever, I think, to finish the calendar year Triple Crown border to border. So he hiked Appalachian Trail and connected it from border to border in the country. He hiked the Pacific Crest Trail, also connected it border to border, and the Continental Divide Trail, and did border to border there. So crazy year, over 8,000 miles. This person is going for 10,000 miles on the year. All right, so now at the time of recording our outro here for this episode, Troy has completed that, then I think it was the NorCal Backyard Ultra. He got a bunch of friends to sign up. Adam Williams, who we had on the podcast recently, he went out too and did it. I think they went 100 miles or just over 100, the two of them. And so Adam didn't quite get another 200 miler, but Troy definitely got another 100 miles closer to 10,000 on the year. So he's ticking away.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I think what really, I don't know if it surprised me or not, but it was interesting to think about is the fact that he feels fit and can run, even though all he did the whole year was hike. So, I mean, to do 100 miles in a backyard, that's 14-minute miles.
Yeah.
With a lot of breaks. So,
yeah, wild. I think there's something to that, like Killian style of like how much like zone 1 training he does. Like Killian Jornet is just like just building like a massive aerobic base and capacity for like slow, quote unquote, slow running, slow for whoever you are, what your baseline is. And like, yeah, I bet Troy could just do that pace for a very long time right now.
Must feel amazing to have done all that this year and still be going.
Yeah. Speaking of aerobic capacity, I'm doing some metabolic testing and like VO2 max testing later in December with Dina. So I have a pretty good idea of what my stuff is, but it'd be cool to like actually see the numbers from that. My hypothesis is that I have a really big aerobic base, but pretty small upper zones.
Well, something to work on.
Yeah.
Growth objectives.
I did a 5x4 minute workout yesterday, and my splits were 5:56, 5:56, 5:57, 6:15, 6:13.
Okay, so you kind of faded.
I crashed. I've been holding really steady on this, on the 3-minute intervals. Like they've all been like 5:55 to 5:57-ish and like very consistent. And yeah, I don't know if it was warm or if I was a little fatigued or it was the extra minute with the 4-minute intervals. But man, I like, it was a physical, like my heart rate was 186. It was where it was supposed to be. The effort was the same. It's just like there was a governor and like, yeah, nearly 20 seconds slower, which is, kind of significant when you're at your top end. Brutal.
Yeah. No, when I did biking, 4-minute intervals were good. I like that because it's more than an 800, not quite a mile. I think that's the sweet spot. It's like 3 minutes. I think you get more out of 4 minutes at that kind of effort.
Yeah. Mentally, it was hard though, because I've been doing it on the track and like I can visualize where the 800 ends. But when you like do 2 loops of the track and you're like not done and you have almost a full loop, it was hard.
Yeah. I guess it's a little more than a kilometer probably you're going.
I don't know what kilometer means. Is that like what is that word?
Well, I think a kilometer at a 6:26 pace is 4 minutes.
Okay, interesting. I mean, I was just making a miles kilometer joke.
Right. I know, but I'm the mathing.
You're mathing over there. Yeah, so I'm trying to get speedy for Avalon, trying to beat Kevin from last year, which proved hard to do the year before. We'll see what happens.
Nice.
All right, we got a lot of things and stuff to get into here. Let's we have a lot of fun categories. We're bringing back snack reviews. Anyone who listened to the podcast in 2024, we used to order exotic snacks from around the world, and Peter and I would taste them and review them here on the podcast. So excited to be bringing those back. But first, let's jump into some sponsor stuff. So as you know, we are sponsored by John G and Mount to Coast. John G makes clothing to help you go further. Peter and I wear it for all of our adventures, our runs, our 200s, our races. It's durable gear that's backed by a 5-year guarantee. They give 1% of profits to Clean Water. Just a great company to work with. They've been really awesome to us. And everything they make is just awesome. Their new winter line is really sweet. I've been wearing their mid layer and the jacket. Peter, while you were in Miami, I did James Peak on Veterans Day because had the day off, and it was like 70 degrees down by me, and it was probably in the low 20s up on the summit. And I had like 3 of my new winter John G layers on and shorts. I was the only one of us in the group that wore shorts the whole time. It was so cold. But yeah, check out John G. If you have already placed a John G order, we're going to give you an incentive here to get some new gear in a second. And then, of course, Mount to Coast. You've probably seen them around. Buzzy brand right now. They make awesome shoes. What I love is just how versatile the shoes are. Like I did that speed work I was just talking about in the H1s yesterday, the same shoes that I ran the entirety of Mammoth 200 in. That Circle Cell foam feels good underfoot, and I've just been so happy with those H1s. So they have road shoes in the R1s, more aggressive trail shoes in the T1s, and then of course the H1s are their hybrid shoe. Peter, want to share one word about John G and one word about Mount to Coast?
Mount to Coast, maybe durable.
Mm-hmm.
And for John G, I don't know, maybe flashy.
Yeah, they have a lot of pattern. They have like black in almost everything, but they do also have like super fun patterns and colors as well. So I think that fits.
Yeah. All
I
right.
put Peter on the spot so often. You did good. It was good.
Yeah. Well, one thing I like about Mount to Coast is it's so straightforward, their naming, like T1, R1, H1. You know what the shoe is based on how they name it. So all these other brands, they just name them absurd words that make no sense.
There's no noise. I agree. It's just like, hey, we have a shoe for whatever terrain you need, and they work. So if you want to support us, a good way to do so is by supporting our sponsors. If you place a John G or a Mount to Coast order, we will send you some free swag. I'll get into what that swag looks like in a minute. But how you can place an order and support us is by using code DISTANCE for either brand. So code DISTANCE will get you 10% off John G. Code DISTANCE will get you 10% off Mount to Coast. For John G, there will be a post-purchase survey that asks you how you heard about John G. You can select podcast and then hit submit, and another screen will pop up with a list of the podcasts that they support. And you can select distance to empty and then take a screenshot of that or your purchase screen with the distance code for Mount to Coast. Send us that screenshot either via Instagram on Distance to Empty Pod on Instagram or over email at distancetoemptypod@gmail.com. If you send us the proof of that purchase, we will send you a free Distance to Empty hat or a Distance to Empty shirt, or, drumroll, we recently struck a deal with Creepers to get a bunch of socks for our listeners who buy our sponsored who buy things from our sponsors. So we'll also do a free pair of Creepers socks if you prefer that. For those of you who don't know who Creepers are or what Creepers are, they're toe socks made of a really nice merino wool blend. If you've heard of or seen Injinji socks, Creepers are very similar, but they're all merino wool blends. So really nice for all conditions. Yeah, they're great socks, and I'm excited to be offering them as a incentive here because I think it's a super cool product, and they're not branded Distance to Empty. They're just a pair of Creepers socks. But yeah, you wear Creepers too, right, Peter?
Yeah. I learned about them at the Arizona Monster. I saw other people with them, so I checked them out, and I really like them. They're getting more and more options, but the ones I used at first, they're a little thinner, which I actually like better than other alternatives. But now they have like boot style socks and all sorts of variations.
Yeah. So check out John G and Mount to Coast. If you are inclined to place an order or a reorder, we have lots of fun options for things to send you for free. All of those will also come with a bunch of fun distance to empty stickers. We just got these new stickers made that I think are super awesome. They say, ask me about 200 milers, and they're a little picture of a runner running through the mountains. And so it's kind of like we all want to talk about 200s, right? So this sticker can maybe spark some conversations if people see it and be like, what are 200 milers? So got some fun new stickers. Those will be included as well. Yeah. Looking forward to more trips to the UPS store. I love my UPS store. They are like the most functional people on the planet. Yeah, I just like going there.
You have good weather in Denver, good UPS stores, and in LA, it's the opposite.
So make me go to the UPS store. That's the real goal here. All right, that's our shtick on sponsor. Oh, we have Creeper stickers too, so you'll get some Creeper stickers in the.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm showing Peter on the screen here. All right, let's get into some categories, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, let's start with the what are you enjoying category. So this is one we've done a couple of times, and I'm just going to ask Peter what he's enjoying right now, and I'm going to tell you what I'm enjoying. So it can be anything, Peter. It can be food you've had recently, something in pop culture, good night of sleep, or just what are you enjoying lately?
Well, I think, for work travel, it's always fun to shake things up. So a lot of restaurants were on this trip and some really good food. So my usual, we don't go out to too many restaurants these days, but it was fun to do that.
What was your favorite dish or meal that you had?
I think the most fun is there's this restaurant. It's a funny name. It's called Sexy Fish. I think it's in all the big cities, London, Dubai, Miami. But it's an experience. It's all this underwater theme. There's giant octopus statues hanging from the ceiling, large fish tanks, and very ornate tile everywhere. But the weirdest thing is they have like a wax statue of Daniel Craig in the men's restroom as though he's going pee in a urinal. He's like staring right at you as you open the door. So it's just it's a very strange place, but it was good.
Sexy Fish. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, well, there you go. We'll have to find one.
Okay. So something I've been enjoying lately, my mom's in town right now, and last night we watched a movie, and I'm a snob. Melanie's even worse, like a Rotten Tomatoes snob. So we have our Rotten Tomatoes accounts and we have our watch lists. And this is one that I had like not seen or heard of. Apparently it came out last year, or actually no, August of this year. So it's pretty new. But 82 certified fresh on Rotten Tomato, 89 on the popcorn meter, which is the audience score. It's called Relay, and it's like a mystery thriller action. Has Riz Ahmed as the leading role. If you don't know who that is, you probably recognize him if you Google him. It was just really good. Like I had no knowledge of it or expectations, and it was like a fun ride the whole time with a big twist that I did not anticipate coming at all. Yeah, it was basically the like Relay was a nod to like a lot of it took place over this like relay service, which I didn't know what a relay service is or was. Do you know what a relay service is, Peter?
I could guess, but I'm not sure.
Well, I want you to guess.
And I'm thinking like switchboards, telephones, something.
Yeah. I mean, kind of. It's for like deaf or hard of hearing people, or visually impaired as well, where like you can type out something and then the other person would speak it to. Like if I couldn't talk, I could type and then like they would speak it to you, and it's like confidential and private, and it's pretty cool. So I highly recommend it. We rented it on Amazon. I think it was like $6. It's called Relay.
All right.
You would like it, Peter.
Watch it. I'm always looking for movies.
All right. How about we'll save our snack review for last. So let's play Let's Get Deep. Let's Get Deep is a card game for couples that Peter and I play on the podcast for your enjoyment. There are 3 categories: icebreaker, deep, and deeper. Peter, I'll kick you off with your icebreaker. You can't say me for this. Who is your favorite comedian? You were supposed to laugh at that part.
Yeah. Okay. Not you. Ha ha ha. Favorite comedian. I don't know. I like a lot of different comedians. I've been watching. My feed has been serving me up clips from Kill Tony a lot, over the past year or so. So there's a lot of funny comedians there. I think Ari Matti has been really funny. He's an Estonian comedian. So
nice. I think my all-time favorite is Norm. I know this wasn't mine, but I love Norm, and I've been enjoying Nate Bargatze. I like his delivery and his like dry.
Yeah. The Norm's classic. The other day I rewatched his frog joke. The knick-knack, paddywhack.
Yeah.
Frog.
Give that dog alone, or give that frog alone. Yeah.
Yeah. So silly. All right, your icebreaker. What common grammatical errors annoy you the most?
Oh my, I'm not as bad as some, but like I do get annoyed. I mean, the wrong use of the your, like your instead of you are, is probably the one I see most that bothers me. Same goes for like the there. Those are probably the big ones. Yeah, those are the big ones. Like I'm not like too much of a snob with it, where like, it's like I'm thinking less of someone if I see that, but I do notice it, and sometimes even though I try not to, I correct it. All right, deep for you. Don't think too hard, because I feel like just pick one that like comes to mind, because I was trying to think if someone asked me this one. But what is your earliest memory?
I think my earliest memory is being at Dunsmore Park, which is a park in the town I live in. My mom used to take me there, and it was one of those parks that at the time like had like horrifying play structures that were probably built in like the 60s, like all metal. You get burned because the sun's hitting the slide, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think that's my earliest memory. All right, you're deep. Curious what you say about this one. What's an industry secret in your line of work that most people don't know?
That's pretty cool. An industry secret in my line of work that most people don't know. So I work at Training Peaks. I'm a matchmaker, so I match athletes and coaches together. I would say, I think it's pretty remarkable how few in people selling their services as endurance coaches who actually have no training whatsoever. Everything they're doing is anecdotal based, which is like, you can be a good coach and like self-taught, but like the amount of professionals billing themselves as professionals who have no formal training or experience, and like I see a lot of their training, and a lot of it is just regurgitated, which happens, right? Like I'm trying not to be too judgy about this, but like there's a lot of just like people kind of watching and learning and trying to like emulate out there, versus people like reading, teaching themselves, and truly trying to become experts in their craft. Trying to think if there's anything else. The people you're racing in Zwift or other virtual places might be bots, and you might not know.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. All right. Deeper for you. If you were granted a redo in the past year, would you do anything differently?
I think so. I think coming off of Badwater and AC 100, I would have continued to train.
Even just a little bit. Even if you did like 25 miles a week, you'd be in such a different place.
I know. I'm so dumb. It's fine.
It's fine. You said before we started recording how you've been a better husband and more present in other aspects of your life, and like that's good. That's not a bad thing. But
yeah, I agree.
But we're still going to make fun of you.
Yeah, no, I need it. That's how I come back. I respond to cyberbullying.
Well, so in the middle of this Let's Get Deep, we do have to say, so at Avalon, I have a bet, and I'm betting on you, Peter. Unfortunately, like you're my horse in this race. If you beat Chris, our friend Chris, who is racing Avalon with us, he has to pay for my lunch and dinner on the island that afternoon and evening. So, you're my little pony in this race.
I'll be your pink pony. All right. Okay. You're deeper. I'm going to change this one up. So imagine that ultras had walk-on music for each athlete, kind of like baseball. What would your walk-on song be for an ultra?
Oh, I like that. Before the infamous slap, I might have said Getting Jiggy With It by Will Smith, but let me see if I can change it up. I'm going to go, this is super, super recency bias here, but I'm going to go with, I think it's a Phil Collins song, but I would do the cover by I don't know who. But one of the, I think, things I was enjoying recently was the series Paradise on Hulu. The song Another Day in Paradise. Is that a Phil Collins song? Do you know? I think it's a Phil Collins song, Another Day in Paradise. But I think I'm looking at it now, Joyner. There's a cover on Spotify by Joyner, and like the whole soundtrack for that show, Paradise, is like other big songs. It's I Think We're Alone Now, We Built This City, Knocking on Heaven's Door, like popular songs. But they're all done with this like sort of dark, like the covers have like more of a sort of like a dark like overtone to them, where it's a little like creepy and dark. And I think the Another Day in Paradise by Joyner is like a really like, it's another day in paradise at that ultra, but it's like, it's not going to be great,
That's cool. Did you ever watch Westworld?
I watched the first season and loved it, and then like couldn't really get into subsequent seasons.
Okay. But yeah, the first season, they had all these popular songs that they redid as like player piano, like saloon type music. Like they had Black Hole Sun, Nine Inch Nails song. They had all kind of similar. It's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I like when that happened. Like the Paradise, the soundtrack is on Spotify for Paradise. So head on over to Spotify, leave us a quick review, and then check out the Paradise soundtrack from the show. See that seamless review plug, Peter?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was nice.
smooth.
All right, is that it? Are we done with Let's Get Deep?
I think we are.
All right, one more category for you. We're going to do this snack review, but first, wait, there's more. Let's talk about our Patreon for a minute. So, in addition to our sponsors that we talked about, we do have a Patreon subscription. If you are looking for bonus content, we have some pretty awesome bonus episodes. We have a Discord that's been pretty active and awesome. It is $10 a month, and we'd love to have you in that Discord, especially if you're kind of jazzed about the 200 world. We have people in there who haven't finished 200s before, so it's not like a prerequisite. It's just a fun community of people who are chatting, getting to know each other, and kind of like posing questions and getting somewhat expert answers. Yeah, it's been a really fun time, and it comes with some bonus content. So please join us if you're interested. Of course, there will still be these main episodes for free if you're not. And then we also have a coaching tier. It is group coaching, but with custom plans. So it's not just for 200s, although that is certainly where we specialize in, but we have people training for all sorts of distances. The plan is built custom to you. And we'd love to chat if that sounds like something you're interested in. We have been growing that here recently, and it's a lot of fun now that there's a few people in there. So if you're looking for something big in 2026 and you're looking for an affordable way to meet those goals without just having a static plan, then let's chat. You can reach out Instagram if you have questions, or Distance to Empty Pod. We can hop on the phone, see if it's right for you. You can see all those tier packages in the show notes. It is under the Patreon link, and I think it's the first thing we put in our show notes. So check it out. All right, Peter, take us into our snack reviews.
All right. So yeah, if you listened a year or so ago, we were doing these. A lot of the snacks that we've gotten are from Galactic Snacks. No affiliation with them. They just have a lot of fun, exotic snacks from around the world.
They also have a great, again, no affiliation, but they have do you know what their URL is? Like the website for Galactic Snacks is just buysnacksonline.com. They should sponsor us.
Yeah, no, they should. So we have a whole load of new ones. This first one, I think, is kind of just dipping our toes back into it. It's nothing too crazy. It's It's a garlic baguette flavored sun chip from Korea, it looks like. And I tried them, and they're really good, but I think they could pass for an American flavor. They're just good chips.
Yeah, I agree. They didn't feel like, if I had just taken those out of a bowl and I didn't see the packaging, I would just been like, what flavor of sun chip is this? It's like the garlic is very light. Like I don't feel like my mouth is garlicky like now, a few minutes after eating them. But yeah, they're delicious. But like you said, kind of a mild re-entry into our wild and wacky snacks.
Yeah, I'm excited you got us some drinks this time.
I'm excited for that Jolt Cola.
Yeah, I used to have, when I was a kid, we'd buy Jolt. Like if we had like a when we were like 12, we'd have like a sleepover at someone's house and stay up all night playing video games. Like we'd be drinking Jolt. I don't think I've had one since.
I must have just missed Jolt because I don't know anything. Like it's new to me.
Okay, yeah, this would have been early 90s. The kids were buying Jolt.
Yeah, so I guess I was like 4 or 5, and probably just under Jolt age.
Yeah, we also had like at the time Cactus Cooler. Did you ever have that? There's another one.
Mine was like Surge.
Yeah, we had Surge was later. Yeah, but I remember Surge.
Surge and like Sobe teas. But yeah, no, these things were good. I like sun chips, and they're kind of a tasty light garlic flavor. So recommend if you're looking at Galactic Snacks. And if I should say, a fun thing we're doing in our Discord for our Patreon subscribers is Peter and I posted like the whole order of snacks, like everything we ordered. So if you wanted to like try along and see what we're talking about, you could place that same order. So that's another fun part about being in Patreon. We're going to put a poll out there and chat about those snacks. But of course, if you want to just do that without, you could just message us and I can send you that order list. So, these are going to come out slowly. So you certainly have time to get all those snacks and see what you think. So feel free to ask us for that if you're curious. All right. I think that's it.
Yeah, no, I think we covered it. I think this might be our longest outro ever.
I think it is our longest outro ever. Almost a half hour. Record. Yeah, let's go. We've got some really awesome episodes coming up on tap. We are speaking with a bunch of hallucination experts, so excited to get those out here soon. Yeah, well, thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.